Stablecoin companies are chasing Latin America remittances, but the product test is not just moving money faster. In the stablecoin firm's 112B story, the pressure point is simple. The winners may be firms that design for trust, local access, and people who want dollars to stay spendable after arrival. The broader Latin America remittance market is described as $174 billion, with about $112 billion outside the US to Mexico route. The viewer should not treat the number alone as the whole story, because the useful part is who is exposed, what mechanism created the pressure, and which signal shows whether the issue moves from claim to follow-through. The opening read is therefore narrow and concrete. 174B LATAM sets the scale, while Country Stacks tells us what would make the next stage visible. That framing keeps stablecoin remittance tied to evidence instead of excitement. Many firms have focused on the $61.8 billion US-Mexico corridor, while smaller or internal LATAM routes remain less served. Western Union, MoneyGram, Binance, Bitso, Strike, Felix Pago, banks, retailers, and telecoms are all part of the competitive map. That baseline matters because it gives the story a factual floor before any reaction builds around it. The strongest confirmed scale marker is 174B LATAM, while 112B outside adds the context that keeps the event from becoming a vague market talking point. It also explains why Western Union is central to the case rather than background noise, and why the timeline or structure cannot be skipped. Without that baseline, $174B LATAM can be misread. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. Stablecoin firm's 112B turns on the mechanism. Stablecoin adoption depends on a closed loop. Remit, hold, spend, and possibly earn inside local rules. A sender who struggles with a wallet or cannot trust the off-ramp is unlikely to care that the settlement rail is crypto-native. That is where a surface event becomes more than a headline. The mechanism explains whether the pressure sits in liquidity, compliance, custody, user access, product design, security, or market structure. In practical terms, the link between user design and stablecoin hold is what makes the outcome matter beyond a single announcement or price move. That is the piece viewers can actually monitor. The affected side is remittance families. The affected user is often an older remittance sender, not the young crypto trader many apps were designed around. This is the practical consequence. The event can change how people use a platform, how traders read a level, how issuers design products, or how regulators evaluate a risk. The segment keeps that effect narrow because unsupported ecosystem-wide claims would blur the evidence and make the story less useful. The useful question is what remittance families can actually do or observe after this event. The consequence is concrete only where that group is involved. The unresolved piece is whether crypto firms can beat familiar incumbents on trust, support, and local cash-out access. That does not erase the confirmed facts, but it does limit how far the conclusion can go. Usage by repeat senders and licensed local payouts will clarify whether the model works beyond pilots. This is the difference between a strong signal and a completed outcome. Viewers should know which part is established and which part still needs proof. The missing evidence matters because Country Stacks can change the interpretation without changing the baseline facts already on the table. That caution matters while the open item remains unsettled. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. The next signal is which firms launch country-specific stacks with reliable stablecoin liquidity. For stablecoin firms 112B, that matters because a regional brand will not be enough if each country needs different rails and licenses. If that signal appears, the story can move into its next phase. If it does not, the event remains important but unfinished. The clean way to follow it is to track that trigger, not to assume the ending before the evidence arrives. The final readout is intentionally specific. Country Stacks is the point where follow-through can be judged. Everything else is context until that signal changes.